Hey Ranger Nation, welcome back to another video. And today, this episode, I have to admit, of Zenkaiger was actually quite a decent one. And I think one of the better series that I've seen so far, like of the episodes, shall I say. And I have to admit, it made me laugh quite a few times. So the comedy was spot on. I enjoyed it. If you want to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, as well as that cheeky notification bell to be notified when more videos drop. Let's just jump straight into this review. Now, basically, this entire episode is a time episode. So the monster, I'm guessing, is from Time World, because it would make Sane or Clock World, but Time World is what we're going to go with. So Time World has the ability to stop time and, kind of reverse it, shall I say, back to a point in history, which I have to admit is a fantastic, and I mean fantastic series, or power, should I say. Like, dear God, I absolutely loved it. And I loved how it just wasn't like just the surrounding area. Like, the people would change. Like, you saw stuff from like rural Japan. You saw stuff back in the day. And I absolutely, fantastically loved this because it felt like they put a lot of time and effort into it. So this entire episode, first of all, starts off with a kid that comes in and looks like he's lost. He doesn't know how to make friends. And this kind of reminded me of Majin when she was a kid, or a young Kikanoid, and she met Jorin and stuff like that. That's how that kind of made it for me. I was like, okay, I can kind of see this. And the kid doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know how to make friends. Because I'm watching this from the raw, so this isn't just like with subtitles. That comes out much later on. So when I kind of like saw this, I was like, okay, it's going to be a story about the kid, and then Kaito and the rest have got to try and help and stuff like that. But Time World kind of jumps in. You see the effect happening straight away. And I've got to admit, the first part that made me laugh is Zenkaiger. So Zenkaiger jumps in, he starts fighting the monster, and then the others kind of join in. And when Time World uses his ability, it turns Zenkaiger, now this is a bit weird, like it turns Zenkaiger, no, it turns Zenkaiger's morpher into a plank of wood, like, basically like a wooden thing. And everyone's like, huh, what? And he starts doing the whole thing where he starts morphing, he starts dancing, and then he's like, what? What's gone on? What's gone on with this one? And I think that made me laugh quite a bit. The next kind of step for this one is, like, everyone's changed their appearance, which I think obviously may have gone with the time that they're doing, like the time that they're from. So Majin, obviously, to me, looked like Hello Kitty, the same sort of outfit, so I kind of got that one. Kaito was obviously back from the, I'm guessing, 80s. You have Jorin in his, like, kind of denim phase. So again, that one reminded me of like the 70s. And then you had Vrum as his kind of like Sherlock Holmes type thing. So I'm guessing around about the 70s as well. Guyon is basically in a hippie type stage. And I'm guessing Zox was pretty much, how do I say, like he was in his like kind of 70s phase, like John Travolta type thing. So the entire episode kind of like focuses around the different times, and I absolutely love this. I love that rather than default setting that we have where it's always either the back of the parking lot or it's the same locations. They actually went to town and changed everything. So you have like kind of a city that I think that, maybe it's a theme park type thing where you can go and have a look around and then kind of experience it. It's kind of like how Universal have their own kind of lots that they made. So if they've made it for this and it's for like other series as well, I think that would be absolutely fantastic. Now, the grandmother, Yatsunade, I hope I said that, or Yatsunade, this kind of episode, I felt like it focused around her. I felt like this is her one in many to have this episode. Maybe she won't get any more, but this is the one. So with the kid earlier in the episode, he's on his own. He has no one to kind of go to. And I feel like he was more like, oh, my parents aren't around. I've got no friends. How do I get around this? How do I meet them? But what you saw in this episode is Yatsunade, she goes around and she helps him. And I feel like they actually go and look at the stuff that was in her time, in like when she was younger. So you have the sort of thing of like TV, which was kind of color going in and out, which I kind of remember seeing that when I was younger, like, and then seeing like TV shows that would have this. So you saw lots of things like women playing snooker, pool, stuff like that. I kind of like this. You saw lots of different TV shows that was playing, and obviously then she helps them, like, they go get food and stuff like that. And I felt like this was a very kind of really cool thing that they do. She meets Stacy as well, and I don't know if Stacy is thinking of her as her mother, but it kind of looked like it was more of a falling in love type thing. Like, he was like, oh my god, like, I've fallen in love with you. And I feel like if it's more of the mother type thing where he's like, oh, you remind me of my mum type thing, I have a feeling that what you're going to see is you're going to see that he will become part of the family in the end, because no one will love him. Like his father and that won't give a crap, or he's destroyed. And I think Stacy will become part of the family because he now kind of looks up to her, or she'll turn around and say, "Hey, stop! You can't defeat, you can't fight the Zenkaigers anymore." Stuff like that. So I see that there's going to be a development within those two characters very, very soon. One thing that did again make me laugh is because of this the time monster using his ability, he turns around and uses it on Zox's ship, which then turns it into a wooden pirate ship. So I found that really funny, but then it kind of crash lands and you see it like kind of destruction. You see Ricky and Cutler, that they're all exactly the same. But for Flint, she's kind of wearing a business attire. And that, again, was like the 90s, early 90s I saw. I thought she looked stunning in it. I generally really kind of laughed. So one good thing I've noticed with Zenkaiger, and this has happened all the way through, is that if they kind of go back to old TV, like they'll change the frame ratio around. So 16:9 is what we're using currently. So back then it was like 4:9 and stuff like that, or 420, 4:9 and stuff like that. So it kind of like shrinks it into a square. You see it in like old shows like Buffy, Star Trek, Voyager, Next Generation, stuff like that. You see it a lot. So it feels like a lot of them are kind of depressed. They're not thinking, and they're like, oh, what are we gonna do? And you kind of see this around, so they do nothing. So Kaito's completely out because he's thinking about the past. So the Zenkaigers kind of step in and they start fighting. And I love at a point that they kind of get past this entire old school stuff because they start thinking about their past and they move on. So I love the fact that they knock over or knock away the kind of like the borders and stuff, so it kind of expands back to what we've seen. So it kind of goes into a massive big fight with the Kikinoids. They've got their powers typed back. They didn't really have them like gone anyway. So it kind of goes on for a while. They start fighting, and one really cool thing with the Time Monster is after they've beaten him, after the Zenkaigers beat him, he uses it to rewind time. So all the fight never really happened. So they use Time Ranger. But I love the fact that before all this, I think Zek-chan just calls him on the telephone, and it's an old school phone, so which I have seen. I used to have one when I was a lot younger, or my grandparents did. So they use this ability, and it kind of like they use Time Ranger to stop time and kind of like put it normally, and that's the only one that you see. So obviously the Zenkaiger's fight, Kaito then and the others get restored. And then that's pretty much the entire episode. We have Megazord fight, which again looks fine, and I don't know what happens in this one because it could be a throwaway line, but it looks like the Time Monster erases Gaon and Durin's kind of memories or something like that. So when I see it subbed, I'll be able to tell. But that's what it kind of looked like. They defeat it, the monster, and then things kind of go back. The kid is finally happy, and that's kind of the main majority of the episode. But I really like the way that they shot it because it reminded me of like the old style westerns and stuff like that. So I was really happy. Everyone's happy at the end, and then obviously we get the kind of next preview that's going in, and it looks like Stacy's kind of arrived, but we'll talk about that in the next one. Anyway, I'm gonna leave that. This episode, to me, I really enjoyed. I think this is one of the better ones because it made me laugh. It made me actually enjoy it. And I love seeing the going back in time element. So and seeing that they've used different shots. So to me, I really enjoyed that. I hope the series gets a lot better. I really do. But apart from that, I think it's good. So I am going to leave it there. What are your thoughts? Did you see this episode? What did you think? Let me know down below in the comments. And if you like this sort of content and you want to see more, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, as well as that cheeky notification bell. And I'll see you in the next video.
チャンネルをサポートしてくれてありがとうございます。チャンネル登録、高評価お願いします。